All right, this next step is exciting because I get to open up another bag, like so. Just empty its contents off screen over here. This is going to bring in the main chassis tub. Nice thing about bringing in the tub is that this will allow this assembly to start looking like a vehicle. So this is all one molded piece. The injection point is right there. You can see all of the fibers. Almost looks like a little magnetic chart. They're just, all the fibers are just aligned outward. Pretty interesting. You can just see the fluid dynamics, how it all worked out. But one solid piece, pretty stiff for its shape. Happy about that. Let's see how it goes together. All right, 4 screws from the bottom and just 2 from the top. A little bit on the flimsy side, just with the connection point. I think the top here, I'm not so happy about that. Keys together just a little bit, but it's just a small little area for all of the force incurred from the front being transferred rearward. Just goes into these 2 little 3x10 screws with not a lot of plastic, like I said, keying together, and also twisting forces in the chassis also kind of concentrate through those 2 little spots. So I think that could have been a little bit beefier, but once it all goes together, at least it's, you know, it's fairly smooth on the bottom. There's a little bit of a lip there, not too bad. And then one last thing that gets done here with the part that came out of that bag, we've got a rear block, and this is going to be, I believe, shock tower mount, as well as it's the point where you attach your camber links on the inner end. And 4 screws will just hold that straight down onto the main chassis tub. All right, so here I'm going to assemble together the rear A-arms onto their mount, and we've just got captured pins back here, no more E-clips for that. Trying to see which way these go. Looks like this should be correct, and this lines up like so. The Pro kit does include these aluminum hinge pin mounts. That's pretty cool, and they're marked RR and RF, which I'm assuming stands for rear front and rear rear. Just, that's worthy of a chuckle, right? Or maybe it's rear forward and really rear, you know, because one of them's not really rear, it's just kind of rear-ish, something like that. Yeah, I think so. A couple of screws, which are nowhere to be found at this point because I opened up the appropriate bag that had all these parts in them, and I'm supposed to have a couple of countersunk screws at this point, and they are not here, so I'm gonna have to go searching for those, digging for those through many other bags of bags, and I'll get back to you. All right, so I think I found me some countersunk, supposed to be metric 3x8 screws in a bag that includes a pinion gear. Probably not supposed to be used at this point, but I found some, and if I need some when I get to that point, then I will just steal from my own private collection. But for now, I'm going to take these 2 little fellers out. Interestingly enough, there's another surprise in here. A couple more shock standoffs, and I already found shock standoffs earlier. Just a little bit of a different look to them. Who knows, maybe these are going to be used for something else, but just a slightly different design of shock standoff included in this other box or bag, and I don't know what that's all about, but I'll find out. For now, I just needed these 2 screws to move on. Ideally, you should screw these in before assembling the rest of all this because it's just a little extra work to keep these together, keep them assembled when it's upside down. Make sure you use some thread lock compound because it's going into aluminum now. Don't over tighten, don't over torque. And I'm just gonna, yeah, see there's, again, need to do a little bit of trimming on the A-arms because this side is okay, this side is not. So this side is actually free. I can just pull up the really rear mount, pull these out, and I'll just trim just a little bit off. Yeah, there's just a little bit of flashing on there. I'll trim that off with this X-Acto knife. All right, that's a little bit better. It's not completely loose, but it's okay, and it will wear in. So that whole little thing is just going to get attached now to the back of the main chassis. Just a little bit right there. And again, we need some of those countersunk screws. So I'm going to again rob from the future. Actually, these need to be longer. These need to be 3x10s. And I appear to only have 3x8s in this little baggie. Now the interesting coincidence is I needed 2 3x8 countersunk screws a minute ago, and now I need 4 3x10. And included in the bag that had these parts that I was working on, 2 3x8 button head screws and 4 3x10 button head screws. I think somebody just screwed up again. So for now, I'm going to go into my hex screws, hex packs. This looks good. And what do I need? 3x10. These look like 3x10s. I need 4 of them. There they are. Very convenient. If you haven't seen my little mini review of the hex screws, hex packs, check that out. As you just saw, it's very, very, very convenient. These are good quality screws. So there we go. Okay, that takes care of that problem. That will work just fine, hopefully. Right now it's feeling super, super flimsy and floppy, but the transmission is going to be a major stressed member back here, so that should tighten everything up. Speaking of which, time to move on to the transmission, and that's going to start with the diff.